way we can kind of just ask this is, do Americans like the way that Trump's handling his job and compare it to how they felt about Joe Biden? So this is the net approval rating. You look at Joe Biden back in 2024, he was 22 points underwater. Holy cow. You look at Donald Trump, it's just a different planet entirely. I mean, the gulf between these two is wider than the Gulf of America or Mexico, depending on which side of the aisle you stand on. He's at +2. So look, at this particular point, Americans are giving Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. He's doing considerably better than Joe Biden was doing on the handling of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And so on this simple question, I think Americans are saying, okay, Donald Trump's doing all right on this.
What about specifically on how they feel about bringing the war to an end?
Yeah, okay. So, look, questions on this can be quite complicated, but I think this kind of gets at sort of where the American trend line is. Americans on the Russia-Ukraine war want a quicker end of the war, but Russia keeps its captured land. Look at this, 50%. Bare majority coming in here. Support Ukraine's right to fight, even if it means a longer war. That's at 48. This is very, very close. But the trend line on this question is so important because that want a quick end of the war, look at this. You go back to August of 2022, it was at 31%. Now we're at 50%. I mean, that is a rocket ship upwards in terms of the Americans who want a quick end to the war, even if it means Russia keeps the captured Ukraine land. Americans are moving closer and closer to wanting a compromise, even if it means that Ukraine doesn't really get what it set out to want, at least at the beginning of this war.
Everybody has to get into a room, so to speak, and we have to make a deal. And the deal can be made very fast. It should not be that hard a deal to make. It could be made very fast. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal. And if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal. They've suffered more than anybody else.
I think Donald Trump is very unhappy with the way Zelensky conducted himself in the Oval Office. He is serious about getting both countries to the table. And you talk about pulling the rug out from underneath someone. Well, who pulled the rug out first? Zelensky was supposed to show up at the White House Friday for a perfunctory meeting and sign this deal, which would have bound the United States and Ukraine closer together. And he just couldn't bring himself to just sign the papers and head out. And so, look, I think Trump ran on ending the war. He said day one. We're not at day one right now, but he wants to end the war as soon as possible. He has managed to engage Putin in some kind of conversation. He thought he was engaging Zelensky. And then Zelensky goes out today and says, oh, we're very, very far away from ending the war. The exact wrong thing to do. I don't know who he's getting his political advice from, but he needs to stop listening. It sounds like maybe Chris Murphy and other Senate Democrats. If you want to understand how to deal with Donald Trump, those are the wrong clowns to consult with. Maybe for balloon animals at a child's birthday party, but not for geopolitical advice.
Democrats and some rhinos, that's what they're called usually on the right, but some conservatives, no, not conservatives, Republicans and Democrat senators met with Zelensky and blew smoke up his A before he met with Trump. Now, I think this kind of conversation, I know I've been talking about this, I've been hinting at this, Chris Murphy's of the world, that they, not pressured, but they convinced Zelensky that his approach will be more effective for Donald Trump. And in my view, in my estimation, Zelensky should resign because he let himself get used by the opposition party that's very unpopular in America, by the way. And look, I know a lot of people had some things to say in my first video when I said Americans are tired and they want the war to end regardless of the virtual signaling. That was my video, right? And as you saw from the intro, half of Americans don't want to deal with the war anymore. We don't care. I'm sorry. No amount of gaslighting, no amount of sympathy will end that. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to want more war. It's easy for you. You shouldn't capitulate to Putin. How we're capitulating to Putin? Did we give Putin $300 billion? Oh, wait, that was Ukraine. Did we send military equipment to Russia? Oh, wait, that was Ukraine. Like, how we're capitulating to Putin? Make it make sense. This is the gaslighting term that people use so you don't defend yourself. That's like me saying, hey, I spent all this money on this woman. This woman don't love me. I'm not going to spend money on a woman that doesn't care about me. Oh, my God, you're being selfish. This is exactly how this comes across from Europeans and all these other non-American countries telling us what we should do with our money. Yeah, okay. Talk to us when you actually contribute at the same level to defense spending as the United States of America. Make it make sense. These Europe. Let me not go on a tirade about Europe again. Group of GOP and Democrat senators met with Zelensky and blew smoke up his butt. This is how you get finessed. Some of the most unpopular people in the American political landscape let you convince Zelensky to do their bidding on their behalf. Make it make sense. Made Zelensky perform political theater thinking it would work and forgetting he's not dealing with Biden no more. Trump bashed worst statement that could have been made by Zelensky, Moles canceling military aid. This was a couple days ago. And as you now know, Trump has canceled military aid. Trump pauses U.S. military aid to Ukraine while pressuring Zelensky to move quick towards the end of the war. And this is something that Trump has realized about Zelensky, is that as long as Zelensky feels like he has the support of America, he will use it. He will use it as justification to embolden, right? Because what he's looking for is more leverage. He's not looking to make peace. He's looking for more leverage. And this is why all the Europeans, they all gathered together and had this meeting without the United States. And some people, especially in Europe, are saying that this is a political miscalculation by many of the Europeans, because they say, hey, if you exclude America, don't get mad if America decides to exclude itself, aka pull out of NATO. And them doing these little meetings, it could be viewed as trying to undermine the United States of America. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what Americans actually want, by the way. Now Americans are thinking about, no, we should come out of NATO altogether. Wow. You know how they say an action can create a ripple? What a ripple effect that Zelensky has created. And all this started with the Democratic Party. Make it make sense. Europeans, you're going to find out why Democrats are so unpopular in the United States of America, because nothing they do is actually effective. Nothing they do actually give good outcomes. And Americans have learned this personally throughout the years that they've been running things. But I digress, right? I want to focus more on the CNN panel, and I'll give you different segments and different clips of them arguing. And I want to start off with the Europeans, because, I got a lot of Europeans virtue signaling in my comment section, in my personal life, especially liberals. The liberals are very defensive. They want war. They want people to die, but they have no plan to actually achieve that. Because I asked, we can't capitulate to Putin. Okay, if you don't fight Putin, if we fight Putin, how much lives will that cost? How much money will that cost? And who's going to pay it? And I bet you ain't going to be a European country. They're going to say the United States got to pay that. Okay. The United States said we don't want to pay it no more. You can go fight your war. You can send your people off to die more, but we don't want to be involved in it. Oh no, you hurt our leverage. Then maybe it's time you don't continue this war because you don't got the cards, as a famous man once said. But I digress. Enough of my ranting. Let's check out different segments of this CNN debate, so you guys get a fuller context on the political discussion that's happening in the United States of America. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you mentioned the Europeans. It's interesting to me. They spend more money on Russian oil and gas last year than they sent to Ukraine collectively. That's number one. Number two, it's interesting to me that Zelensky could not see on Friday the benefit of signing the minerals deal. That in and of itself is a security guarantee. When our interests become your interests, that is a security guarantee. You're never going to get Trump to sign an agreement saying, well, we'll eventually put boots on the ground.
Scott, is not a security guarantee.
It is, because we would have guaranteed our own interests.
On top of that, most of the minerals are in territory that is being held by Russia.
But
so
it gave us
the mineral deal is something that is.
Are you saying that we would have entered into an economic situation and not defended it?
It's near and dear to Donald Trump's heart, but it is not a security guarantee.
I disagree.
The role of the president is to put.
Here's what I see. They've lost 700,000 people dead or wounded. They've spent untold amounts of money. They've gained barely any territory in 3 years. The Ukrainians have fought them bravely and courageously. At the same time,
why can't Donald Trump say that?
The political will in the United States to open-ended fund a stalemate is dropping rapidly. The American people want this to come to a conclusion. I think Zelensky is misreading the American political situation. Maybe it was true 3 years ago. Today, people want this to come to an end, and there's a way this ends where he wins.
But don't you
and
think
he cannot
Zelensky
accept the win.
anybody else wants this to end?
He has absolutely no anger.
Europeans officials said that it's petty and wrong to freeze military aid to Ukraine. Okay, you give military aid to Ukraine then, because we're not doing it. I don't know what's on. I literally think the Europeans are misunderstanding what the hell's going on in these United States of America. When I put that video, Americans are tired, I'm an American telling you, yo, I'm tired of the war already, bro. I want it to end. I don't give a damn what you give up because you're the weaker country. Countries, if I may add. Y'all barely got any military. UK is bragging about, oh, we're gonna put boots on the ground. That's nothing but a show. That's nothing but words. And that's what you European leaders are very good at. Y'all good at words, but you're not good at action. Because when people use, there's videos out there, you can go look it up yourself online. There's videos of people asking British men, hey, are you ready to go on the boots on the ground in Ukraine? Guess what their answer is? Guess what their answer is? Hell no. Hell no. So you're gonna have to do the same thing Ukraine doing. You're gonna have to snatch young men off the street and stuff them in a truck and put them out in the front lines unwillingly. These charts are the most concise explanation of Europe I have ever seen. Most Europeans feel Ukraine is not getting enough Western support. Are the current measures against Russia and aid given to Ukraine enough to prevent a Russian victory? Most of them, majority of them said not enough, right? Across Denmark, Sweden, Spain, Britain, Germany, Italy, France. However, only a minority think their country should increase support. Make that make sense? So who does it fall into? Like, this is what I'm talking about with the virtue signaling. It's easy for you to say you need to send $300 billion. But if I ask your country to send $300 billion, you can't do it. But you want United States of America to do it at the expense of their people. And then when their people say enough with the war already. If you let us decide the war, we're gonna quickly end it. We hired a peacemaker to be our president. And then you mad about petty and wrong when Trump's rationale for freezing military aid is to continue pressuring Zelensky to move towards ending the war quickly. Make it make sense. This is why, in my view as an American, this is why Europeans come across narcissistic, self-centered, and arrogant. You want the United States of America to continually cannibalizing itself for the gratification of your ego, Europeans. This is how an American is seeing it. And let me know, if I'm speaking for you, let me know in the comment section. Because this is the sentiment that I'm getting. This is the sentiment that I personally feel. Why would America continue capitalizing itself to give you foreign aid, to give you money, to give you all our resources, all our javelins, all our military equipment? Just so when I say, I think I've given you enough. Oh, this is why Americans are despised universally around the world. Oh, interesting. Oh, so we're despised. Oh, I think we need to pull out of NATO. And then y'all mad. Keep it up, Europeans. Your leaders, your citizenry that mocks us online, calling us ignorant, all this stuff. You're ignorant of how we're feeling. You're ignorant of what it costs us because it doesn't cost you anything. You're mad that Ukraine is not getting enough support, Europeans. But at the same time, you don't want your country to increase their support. Make it make sense. Make it make sense to me. Nothing but virtue signaling. Nothing. And then y'all crying about, oh my God, Trump is capitulating to Vladimir Putin. Let's do some flashbacks because end of the day, America got receipts. Bill Clinton been talking with Putin since Putin started getting into power. Here's how Bill Clinton has saw it during his time. I don't remember when this video actually came out, but here's how Bill Clinton said something in the past about Putin that is contradictory to what today's Democratic Party narrative is. Let's look at this flashback.
Effort to get the Syrian government to declare, disclose, and then hand over their chemical weapons. We'd be crazy not to take advantage of this.
But it's something, the old saying though, if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. Can we really believe that Vladimir Putin, with his own self-interest for Russia, is orchestrating this huge maneuver to remove all of Assad's chemical weapons, and it's just going to happen?
No, we don't have to believe it. We just have to see what happens and make the most of what happens. You work for the best and prepare for the worst in this business.
And this is how Trump is approaching the peace negotiations with Vladimir Putin. Here's a flashback. Clips of Piers Morgan interviewing Bill Clinton where the former president recommends not to criticize Putin in public. That's interesting because President Trump is doing the exact same thing, but the media doesn't care. Europeans don't care. All they care about is making themselves look good. They care about looking good instead of actually doing good. Do I need to go back to the chart again? Because at the end of the day, look, I'm tired. I'm tired of the virtue signaling. I'm tired of the nonsense. I'm tired of people trying to sit here and virtual signaling in my face. I'm tired of it. Europeans want to look good, but they don't want to actually do good. Here's looking good. Most Europeans feel like Ukraine is not getting enough Western support, actually doing good. However, only a minority think their country should increase support. So who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Y'all out here virtual signaling, y'all having meetings without the United States of America, Europeans talking out of their ass, talking about how they universally despise Americans, but you need us for your protection. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You talking about we're gonna put boots on the ground, and your young men don't even want to do that. Make it make sense. Trump is more popular dealing with the Ukraine situation than Biden. But y'all want to talk about how much better it was with Biden. No, you saw Biden as a sucker that you could take advantage of. And you got mad that someone who's actually defending his own nation's interest, the same way you people defend your own interest, and you're getting mad that United States of America is not getting taken advantage of anymore. You're mad that it's not as easy to take advantage of America as it was before. This is truly why the Europeans are mad. This is why they're mad about it being petty and wrong to freeze foreign aid. Well, then you give them military aid. But the days of America continuing capitalizing itself, using up all their resources, using up all their reserves to help you out is over. Trump wants that war to end quickly. He wanted to end it since day one. That's how impatient Trump is to end the war. And you calling it petty and wrong, European officials, because you don't understand the American sentiment. And I'm going to take a page out of Zelensky's book. Just like if you ain't Ukrainian, you can't speak on Ukrainian and all this stuff. You ain't American, you can't speak on what American thinks. And I already showed you, I already illustrated with data, with polls, with statistics, with my own personal commentary, that we tired. We're done with the war. Like, get this, accept this. And just because you have some liberals out here defending Ukraine, saying they're ashamed of being American, all this stuff, America don't care what liberals think. Liberals are the most self-hating people in the world. We don't care what they think. Like, make it make sense. We don't care what they think. America first is a nationalist streak. It's a populist message. The populist says no more war. End it. Or if you want to continue the war, continue it without us, because we're done supporting y'all. Literally, we're saying the same thing y'all saying. We believe our country should not increase support. But y'all mad at us. But we're doing what you're doing. Denmark, Sweden, Germany, Spain, France. We're saying the same thing you're saying. Our country should not be increased supporting for Ukraine. So if everyone's saying the same thing, no country wants to increase support for Ukraine, what was the message? Sign the peace deal. Get something out of it. Survive. But no, Europe got this ego going. All right, go. Prove us wrong then. Go ahead. I don't know. If you wanted a nation where literally your whole apparatus is literally dependent on this nation, I don't think it's smart for you guys to go out here trying to criticize the leader that we elected in the first place with the popular vote, by the way. I don't think it's smart for your citizens online to come out openly criticize Americans, calling us ignorant and saying this is why you're universally despised. I don't think it's very smart for you guys to say that, especially if you want public sentiment to go more your way. And it's, as you saw from the data in the intro of this video, it's trending away from you guys, the support from the American people. American people are getting more, as the years go on, we're getting more and more tired of the war. So I think it's time to end this, because at this point, I don't see an avenue where this ends other than peace deal. And it seems like Zelensky's just delaying the inevitable. It looks like the Democrats are using Zelensky as a pawn to their game, attacking Trump, because they're the most unpopular party. Trump by himself is more popular than the entire Democratic Party. Yet you want to think, listening to Democrats and liberals, thinking that they have the sentiment of the American people. No, these people don't have the sentiment of the American people. Democrats are the party of the globalist, not the nationalist. And right now, nationalism is the policy of America's foreign policy. Hey, if it doesn't benefit Americans' interests, don't expect us to do it. Americans want peace. America wants the war to end. Anything that goes against that, we ain't doing it. Oh, military aid. The military aid is emboldening Zelensky to think that he can continue this war another year. We take it away because we want the war to end. If you want the European Union, if you want the war to continue, hey, start supporting Ukraine then. Y'all start sending y'all money. Oh, wait, you don't. I saw a stat somewhere that Canada wants to send some military aid. They only got 63 fighter jets. 63. Yes, you heard that right. 63 fighter jets. Right? The virtue signaling finally caught up to European Union. Oh, look, we don't got a military. Look at how much money that Americans waste on military spending. This isn't the 90s anymore. This isn't the 60s anymore. But look at you now. Can't even help your fellow European country because you didn't prepare. What this exposes is that the European Union is how you say, a paper tiger, as the Chinese will say. You're a paper tiger. Y'all got nothing. Y'all represent what really is the tiger, and that's the United States of America. Because y'all don't want to build up your military. You're too busy virtue signaling to the liberals in our country, bragging about how you don't spend much money on your military. Now you don't even have military resources to give to Ukraine. And even if you did, many of those resources probably don't even want to fight for Ukraine like that. The same way Americans don't want to fight for Ukraine like that. But you mad at us. Make it make sense. But I digress. I think I went on a rant, on a tangent long enough. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear your perspective, your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the sentiments of the American people? Is it more in line with what you personally think? And if you're a European or someone outside of the United States, watch this. Are you shocked that Americans have this sentiment brooding in the country? Did you have a misconception about the political landscape inside the United States? Did you think that Democrats actually had a sway in the minds of the American people? They don't. Newsflash. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching the end of the video. Share this video if you feel so inclined. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.